Okay, so you want to study in the US, you just got that admission into the school of your dreams and the course you've been waiting for. It's a new year, you're getting your goals on, and then the tuition fees has you like, what? Oh my God, how am I gonna pay? Don't worry, let's talk about how we can make that dream come true. Sit tight. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Janie Booz, aka Janie of Canada, and on this channel we talk about everything life as a professional immigrant. If you're new, where have you been? Please subscribe because you're going to be getting awesome content. And if you're returning and subscribed, hello, it's good to see you again. So at the end of this video, you will have at least 3 ways you can finance your education in the United States, but we'll be focusing heavily on one. Sit tight. Okay, so I'd love for this to be very engaging. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments as we speak, and I just want to bring you on along this journey. Okay, so if you're new, you may not know, but if you're returning and you're subscribed, you will know that I was able to finance my graduate education, my master's degree, by taking a loan. So there are different ways you can finance your education. Some people will save, some people have been planning this for years, and so you've gotten to that point where you have to now use your savings for your education. Some people are just going to work while they're at school and finance a little bit with that. Some people have inheritance. Whoop whoop. I don't know who those people are, but hey, some people have inheritance and some family support and friend support that they could use for your education. But like majority of international students who typically pay 3-4 times more than local students don't have those options, and it's very limited because you can't get like the local loans or whatever that goes to local students. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the loan aspect because you can also get grants and scholarships, right? So we've talked about grants and scholarships. Those exist. They don't usually support the full thing, but sometimes they do. We've also talked about like options to save and work and family inheritance, but a lot of those are sometimes out of reach. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on the loans aspect. Like many of you know, I was able to finance my graduate education here in Canada by taking an international student loan, which was very rare at the time because those don't really exist. Luckily, there's a lot of companies who do that now, who give loans to international students, and one of them, Stilt, was gracious enough to sponsor this video. So we'll be going in depth about your options when it comes to taking a loan as an international student to finance your education. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you an honest review of Stilt. Actually, Stilt is a bank in the United States that can give loans to anyone with a US visa, a visa that's at least 6 months. So if you're a traveler, you come in to work, you're a student, you can have a Stilt account, and this is an option for you. Anyone with a visa can open an account, which I think is pretty dope because I know here in Canada, at least, you can't just open an account without setting certain bills and proof that you live here permanently. So that might be an option that I think is really great. Oh, the good thing too is like it's a free account. You also get a debit card. You get cashbacks as well for every purchase. I think, okay, let's check that out. In Canada, I know you pay for accounts, like you don't get free accounts. So I'm interested to see what this looks like. You have access to an ATM in over 25,000 places in like multiple countries. I'm like, this is pretty dope. And so if you open an account, which is completely free by the way, you also get $25 initially. I'm like, why all this free stuff? But hey, if they're giving, I'm collected. And so I'll talk a little bit more about the account later on. But the really cool part for international students is that you can get a loan of up to $30,000 without any collateral or co-signer, which is a big deal because a lot of times international students don't have co-signers. I don't have family or friends. Like I didn't have a family or friend that I could say co-sign on a 30 grand loan for me, which is big. And they also claim that the pre-approval or the approval process for the loan is by artificial intelligence. So it's not anybody that's looking to say, oh, you're from this country. No. And so it's supposed to be bias free, and you don't need a social security number or a high credit score to get the loan. Okay, because again, I think it's interesting that you don't need a social security number, but the high credit score definitely helps because if you're international, you're just building your credit a lot of times. You don't have long credit history, but I think they're definitely going to do a credit check. But I don't think you don't need a great credit. They just want to see what you have. We'll see. Okay, honestly, let's just check it out for ourselves, okay? So I'm going to go to the website now. Okay, so it says here, loans for immigrants and the underserved. Interesting. Better rates, no hidden fees. If you have any of these visas and more, you can apply. Okay. It says it's a better way to build and access credit. No C, no problem. You don't need a cosigner. We talked about that. Oh, it also says it has low interest rates. I checked and I see that your interest rates start from 7.99, which I think generally is high because local students get anywhere from 3 to 4%. But as an international student, that's pretty much maybe all you can get, to be honest. I think my loan was about that. The company I used, Prodigy, at the time was about 8 point something because theirs are a little higher. You don't have to worry about prepayment. I'll talk a little bit more about the importance of, before you take a loan, things to note. So there's no prepayment fees, meaning that if you take a 30 grand loan today and you come into some money, you want to pay back a big chunk, you can do that without any penalties. So sometimes people charge you because they want to make sure they're getting interest on you for the whole loan term, but it doesn't seem like this is the case with Stilt. Okay, so how it works. Yeah, I love that it takes 2 minutes, according to them, or at least to fill the, if you click on apply today, this process takes 2 minutes. So they're asking the purpose of the loan, how many months do I need to pay back, what sources of income would you use to make timely payment. So you can say family, part-time job, whatever. It takes into account your contact information. So it does here ask for a social security number, but if you say I don't have one, it says you can still apply. So that's pretty cool. And then you can create your account. And then this is where you go to input your visa information, and I wonder what the financial bit is, but it takes 2 minutes to complete all of this to find out if you're eligible, at least for the pre-approval process. And then in 2 to 3 business days, they say you will hear back on if you got a loan or not. Okay, so let's go through this. What we look for: we believe your mother and your credit score. We look at all indications of financial responsibility. So they're looking at current employment or employability. So that that part is really interesting, because if I don't have a job, I hope that you're true to your word in the sense that you will still give me a loan, because hey, I might be an international student. Education, so maybe they're looking at education level. Financial behavior, they'll definitely be doing that credit check. It might just be a soft pull and not one that would impact your credit score. And then obviously there's going to be default, collection, of bankruptcies. They want to know that. Credit check and credit score. Okay, so they're doing a credit check then. So pretty much, if you have good financial behavior, you're most likely going to get this loan. But let's talk a little bit more about, I don't see a grace period. So the loan I used, I remember having a grace period for up until graduation before I had to start paying. So the grace period doesn't mean that interest won't accrue. I think with these loans, interest starts to accrue the second they disperse the money. Like if it's 7.9%, you're paying 7.9% on the principal. So if you pay half back, it's 7.9% on the remaining half. However, there is a period with the loan I had, there's a period while you're in school that you don't need to start paying back. So I don't see that with Stilt. So if you know what that rule is, like on a grace period, or if you have to start paying immediately, please let me know in the comments. Oh well, so this is the part where I actually advise on what you should do before you take a loan. Nonetheless, you have to have a repayment plan. Like, I'm not going to take a 30,000 loan if I don't know that I'm going to get a job that pays me at least double of that, because I mean, maybe not double, but you get what I'm saying, because you don't want to have that loan throughout. You also want to do the math. What does it come to? So they might give you a loan for 30K, you might end up paying 45K or 60K at the end of your loan term. You want to know that number, right? So you can actually look at your best alternatives. The fact that you can get 30K in loan doesn't mean you should take the entire 30K. What do you have from your own savings, right? So those are the kind of things you should look out for when you take a loan. Another thing that's very important when you take a loan is you should never ever miss a payment. Never ever miss a payment. Like, obviously life happens, and if you do, you have to go through the implications of that, which means they're going to charge you a late fee. It'll also affect your credit, and if you don't pay that late fee in time, it just continues to mount. So honestly, I'll say if you don't have good financial behavior, think twice before you take a loan, especially one of this sort. So when I took my own loan, it took me less than 2 years to pay it back because I had a repayment plan, as well as I have factored in what other things I could do to pay it back. As an international student, you don't want that burden taken on you for too long. So always seek a second opinion sometimes before you take a big financial step like that. So with this, I hope you'll be able to learn a little bit more about the different ways you can finance your education. Either taking a grant, a scholarship, or a loan, as we have focused on in this video. If you have taken a loan before, let me know in the comments what your learnings from that was. If you're interested in learning more, I have a link in my description box if you want to open an account with Stilt today, where you can open your account, get your $25, and if you refer a friend, you also get $25. So hey, let's get studying, let's get that money that we need for our education, and I wish you an awesome year ahead of time. Again, if you're new, please remember to subscribe. That is how this channel grows and I can continue to provide you with resources. And if you're returning, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a blessed day, people.